Well, folks, I want to talk about an article in the New York Times by Nicholas Kristof titled Why We Shouldn't Demean Trump Voters. Now, I usually enjoy Kristof's articles, but this one feels like gaslighting. Either that or he's only ever experienced folks who are MAGA light, and not the nasty, unhinged minions who show up to all caps their talking points in my comments. One MAGA told me to dangle from a tree today, but I should extend them respect. I have a black brother. A comment like dangle from a tree is like a kick in the stomach for me. Call me crazy, but I think when someone kicks you in the stomach, demeaning them is an appropriate response. I didn't actually demean them this time. I blocked and reported them. But boy, in my mind, they sure deserve a good demeaning. Now here's my question. Why are Democrats always expected to go high? Why are we expected not to match the deplorable energy and fight back using their toddler tactics? Why do Dems get the short end of the two wrongs don't make a right stick? I've always felt that strange notion gives advantage to the first wrongdoer and kind of screws the second. Wrongdoer 1 can do anything as long as he does it first, leaving the people who react to the wrongdoing saddled with doing right. Otherwise, they get penalized for adding to the wrong they didn't even start. Of course, I do see the obvious logic behind behaving in a way in which you would like other people to behave, but I feel like that's a time-sensitive approach. And once things get to a certain point, going high doesn't even register, and the energy that goes into going high is essentially wasted. I think America's window for going high closed a long time ago, and now it just represents the insanity of doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. I mean, how can I be the change I want to see in the world when my neighbor might shiv me at any given moment? When Harris stepped in, Democrat strategists launched the Republicans Are Weird campaign. And for fuck's sake, it is working. I think when you have someone who's using really dirty, nasty tactics to harm you, once going high doesn't work, you have to win at their game for a while. I think we have to make sure the side that goes low knows their opponents can play in both the low and the high arena, which makes us all the more difficult to defeat. In my experience, if you can meet the low where they are and bat them back unfazed by their low game, then low realizes going even lower won't be effective. Of course, I do agree that ultimately we will have to be the bigger people, and we will have to model the kind of behavior that we want our country to achieve. But I'm confident we'd do that no matter what once the threat is contained. Lord knows Kamala Harris doesn't intend to only govern over blue states and leave red states to fend for themselves. But when it comes to the dire situation we're in, when we find ourselves on the cusp of losing our country to a dictatorship and losing our freedom, safety, and civil society, I think the fire needs to be put out before we can return to keeping the house clean. So yes, Dems should never lose sight of the high road. But unless we meet the opponent with whatever is required to squelch their low game, the high road will be a distant memory, and we may never find it again. Yeah. Well, MAGA, have the day that you deserve.